The Vedas, at this point, they take a turn. The second part of the Vedas starts, what we call the Vedanta. And it starts with a story. It says, you who are seeking happiness in this way, by getting pleasures in this world and seeking something similar in the next world, consider this story. There was this dog who had a bone which it would chew. And it would chew the bone would cut its inner lip and draw blood there. And the dog would taste its own blood and say, that's a tasty bone. And the dog would be very happy with that bone, and it would bury the bone carefully, as dogs do. And once in a while, when it wanted pleasure, it would go and chew the bones so that it would get the taste of what it thought. The dog thought it was the taste of the bone. It was not the taste of the bone. It was the taste of its own blood. Gruesome the story may be, but the Vedas tell us, Upanishads tell us, we are doing the same thing. Whatever pleasure, happiness you find in the world outside, through food and music and art and dance and through great pursuits in life, whatever pleasure you may believe you will find in the heavens to come, all of them are not out there, not in the world, not even in the heavens. It's your own pleasure which you are tasting. It's your own self which you are tasting. According to Vedanta, we are not this body, Sharira. We are not even the subtle body inside this ideas, thoughts, the mind, intellect, emotions, not even that. Beyond this physical body, beyond the mind also, transcending both, what we are is an unchanging existence, consciousness, bliss. Sanskrit, Sat, Chit, Ananda. Pure existence, pure consciousness, pure bliss. Today we are concerned with the pure bliss aspect of it, not the existence and consciousness aspect of it. That's what we are. And what is happening is, though we are bliss itself, what is happening is, when we have desires, when we want something, I am limited, I'll be happy if I see that movie, or I go for that vacation, or I have a relationship with this person. These are the ideas, the desires which come up in the mind, and Vedanta tells us it obscures our own inherent bliss. It obscures it. We are not aware of it anymore. We do not experience it. What we experience is the dissatisfied mind. And when we struggle to get it, whatever we want, it could be that piece of cake, or it could be something very high in art or music or in business or something. When our desire, when our ambition, when our goal is satisfied, mind calms down for a while. For just a short while, the tension goes out of the mind. And our inherent bliss, Sat Chit Ananda, that shines forth in the calm mind. The inherent bliss blazes forth for just a fraction of a second, or just for a little while. And that's what we experience as happiness. And the mistake we make, very much like that little dog, is that, that piece of cake makes me happy. Whenever I want to be happy, I'll eat a piece of cake. Or that person makes me happy, or this place makes me happy, or this activity or this job makes me happy. That's not so. It's our inner happiness. And the proof is in our daily experience. If the piece of cake makes you happy, 2 pieces should make you more happy. Will you say, oh Swami, it does. Well, okay, 3 pieces should make you even more happy. Then you will say, not so much, but it does increase my happiness. The first lesson of economics, whenever you go to learn economics, in the first class itself, they'll teach you the law of diminishing marginal utility. You get happiness from consumption of something you like, more happiness if you consume more, and more happiness if you consume even more, but each time you consume a little more, you get smaller and smaller increments of happiness. The utility, the marginal utility, the addition to your total happiness which you get becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. It diminishes. The law of diminishing marginal utility. And thousands of years ago, Vedanta tells us that's what happens to us. Just look at your own experience. If those things give us happiness, then each time you have that, you should get equal happiness. More you have, more happiness you should get. No. When somebody gives you the 5th piece of cake or forces the 10th piece of cake on you, you want to run away, you want to throw up. How is it that the same thing can give you happiness and the same thing cannot give you happiness? Because that thing is not giving you happiness. What is the happiness is shining forth from within us. Well, you'll say, all right, let the happiness shine forth from within us, but at least I need the cake to make it shine forth from within me. So ultimately, I do need the cake. I do need the things outside. But at this point, a smart person will think, wait a minute. If happiness is within me, if what I'm seeking throughout my life is within me all the time, and it is obscured only by my restless mind, by my turbulent mind, by the desires in my mind, wouldn't it be a smarter way to be happy if I just calm down my mind and let go of those desires? Instead of struggling in the world outside to satisfy those desires, and if I do get satisfied finally, all the result I get is mind calms down. Somebody said, our entire consumer economy is driven by the psychological forces of tension and release of tension. You build up a tension, a desire, by advertisement or whatever, and you get it, a release of tension. And that release of tension is happiness. That's how we are accustomed to getting happiness from the world outside. But imagine if I could let go, if it's possible to let go of those desires, to settle the mind down in a serene mind, in a calm mind, would I not be happy? If this Vedantic theory is right, can I put it to the test? And Vedanta says you should. That's a smart way of doing it. If you are convinced about Vedanta, that you are not the body and mind, not subject to the limitations of flesh or the flickering mind, but an unchanging, immortal consciousness, a spirit beyond body and mind. In that case, calming the mind down, letting go of desires would be a much wiser way of enjoying the happiness which is your own property. It belongs to you. It is you yourself. And the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I'll share something. One of the ways in which I was encouraged to, I was inspired to become a monk is, I saw this monastery near our house, and I saw these people wearing this funny orange dress. They didn't have a car like my dad, didn't have a job like my dad, didn't have a family like my mom and dad, and they didn't even have a host of relatives. They couldn't go out to the hotel to eat whenever they liked, or they couldn't order takeout whenever they liked. They didn't go on vacations. They mostly meditated and helped other people. And what struck me was, they were the happiest people I'd ever seen. How it struck me, I was a school kid at that time. How is it possible that all the things that my parents were trying to get in life, and succeeding to in some extent and not succeeding to in other cases, but that was life for them. All these things, these people were not pursuing, and they were happy. They were absolutely happy. That is the proof of the core idea that happiness is not got by external possessions, external activities, rather what happens inside. The happiness is your own nature which shines out if you can settle the mind down.